Welcome, fellow Wasteland wanderers. Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the radioactive rabbit hole of the wackiest fan theories in the Fallout universe. That's right. We're talking theories so wild, they'll make Deathclaws look like cuddly little geckos. I mean, have you ever wondered if your Fallout experience is just one big simulation? Like you're stuck in Vault-Tech's twisted version of the Matrix? Or maybe, just maybe, that old Courier in New Vegas isn't just tough as nails, but actually immortal. Yeah, you heard me right. Immortal! And let's not forget about our buddies at the Institute, who might just be plotting to turn everyone, literally everyone, into synths. Or are they up to something even crazier? So, grab your Nuka-Cola, double check your VATs, and get ready for a whirlwind tour of the most batshit crazy theories this side of the capital wasteland. Seriously, if you ever thought, I wonder if Dogmeat is secretly a synth, or is there a reason my character can survive a point-blank Fat Man blast, then this is the place for you. We'll be jumping from theory to theory faster than a rad roach on jet, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's dive into this before the Overseer catches wind of this madness. Let's roll. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's strap on our Pit Boys and take a trip into the mind-bending world of the Fallout simulation theory. Picture this. The entire Fallout universe, from its radiation-soaked wastelands to its quirky inhabitants, it isn't real, but rather a grand simulation created by Vault-Tech. It's a theory that's as wild as a Deathclaw on jet, but it's got some interesting clues to back it up. Take Fallout 3 for example. The game is described as, quote-unquote, an interactive reproduction of wasteland life by Vault-Tech. It's almost like they're winking at us, saying, hey, maybe this wasteland is more of a program than a place. And then there's Fallout 76, where President Thomas Eckhart of the Appalachian Enclave starts losing his marbles, convinced he's trapped in a simulation. He's finding messages referencing a virtual strategic solutions or VSS simulation, a concept we've seen before in Fallout 3's Operation Anchorage DLC. And if it wasn't enough to make you scratch your head, there's graffiti in the game saying, quote-unquote, nothing is real, just to keep you guessing. Now let's add more fuel to this fire. As I mentioned a second ago, like in Fallout 76, there's the nothing is real graffiti. It's cryptic, it's eerie. Could it be hinting that everything you're seeing is just an illusion? Then there's also another picture of children shooting a robo-brain. Robo-brains were key in maintaining the simulation in Fallout 3's Tranquility Lane when the human inhabitants, were in the pods. The robo-brains were the ones keeping it going on the outside. Is this graffiti a nod to the idea that Fallout 76 is also a simulation? And then, also in Fallout 76, this might just be something that the developers decided never to change or update as the days go. Who knows? But it could be hinting, because the day on the Pit-Boy in Fallout 76 is always October 23rd. The day the bombs fell. It never changes. Which could be a sign that time is looping, or maybe Vault-Tech's simulation department is stuck in a time warp. Now, the Fallout community has some pretty strong feelings about this theory. On one side, you've got the conspiracy enthusiasts who see the simulation theory as the best explanation for all the weirdness. They point to the recurring themes of control and manipulation across the games, and how Vault-Tech is always lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings. But then, you've got the skeptics, who think the theory is as flimsy as a raider's plan. They argue that if everything's just a simulation, it cheapens the emotional weight of the story, which, let's be honest, it's not the best of the stories. It's still got an okay story, but let's be on the point. But why get invested in characters or make tough choices if it's all just pixels and code? Plus, they point to consistent lore like the Brotherhood of Steel's presence in every game, as evidence that the Fallout world is more than just a series of simulations. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's play Devil's Advocate and poke some holes in this theory now. Like I just mentioned, the Brotherhood of Steel conundrum. The Brotherhood of Steel is like that one friend who always shows up, no matter the party. They're consistent across all Fallout games, suggests that if Fallout 76 were a simulation, it would mean the Brotherhood is being actively updated or patched in. That's a pretty big job, even for Vault-Tec. Then, we've also got the scale of this simulation. We've seen small-scale simulations before in the Fallout world, like in Operation Anchorage and Tranquility Lane. But the massive open worlds of Fallout 76 and other games, that would require a supercomputer the size of Liberty Prime. It's just not plausible on that scale. And to be honest, the scale of Liberty Prime is probably cutting it way short. So, where do we land after all this? The Fallout simulation theory is like that crazy rumor you hear at a rad stag barbecue. It's wild. It's got a few pieces of evidence, but it's probably just for laughs. The clues are there if you squint hard enough, buried in game descriptions, in-game dialogue, and the overall design of the Fallout universe. But whether you believe it or not, one thing is for sure. It gets us thinking. And that, folks, that's what keeps us hooked on Fallout. And at the end of the day, whether the Wasteland is real or just a cleverly constructed simulation, it's the journey through it that matters. And hey, if it turns out it's all just a game within a game, at least we had a blast playing along, right? So, keep your rad meter handy, and remember, in the Fallout universe, reality is just a matter of perspective, and maybe a little bit of Vault-Tec trickery. Alright, let's dive into something a little different. So, at one of my latest polls asking you guys who your favorite Fallout companions are between these 5 people, Dogmeat pulled out a solid chunk of the votes. I mean, who doesn't love a good old boy who will follow you through hell and back, right? But here's the kicker. The Burn Man himself, Joshua Graham, took the top spot. No surprise there. The guy's a legend. Now, if you want me to do a super deep dive into Joshua Graham, let me know in the comments. I've got a feeling I could really slip into his shoes maybe his bandages pretty well. But for now, let's talk about the underdog, or should I say, the undergod. Yes, you heard me right. What if Dogmeat isn't just a loyal companion, but actually a god in disguise? I know. It sounds like I've been sipping on too much Nuka-Cola Quantum, but stay with me here. Dogmeat's been there for us through thick and thin. It reminds me of Forrest Gump. He just keeps showing up. He was there in the original Fallout, then he popped up in Fallout 3, trotted to Fallout 4, and even made an appearance as Rex in Fallout New Vegas if you want to squint hard enough. It's like the guy just can't get enough of the Wasteland. Different dogs, same loyal, battle-hardened heart, but here's where things get interesting. Dogmeat seems to survive anything and everything. He's out there taking on Deathclaws, super mutants, and raiders, like they're a bunch of rad roaches, and if he does fall, don't worry, he's back in the next game as if nothing happened. It's almost like he's respawning, or reincarnating. And have you noticed how Dogmeat always seems to know what's going on? He'll lead you to hidden stashes, warn you about dangers, and sometimes give you that look, like he's in on a secret and you're not, you know? The kind of look your dog gives you when you're feeling down and you start wondering if they somehow understand more than you think. It's almost as if Dogmeat is guiding you through the wasteland, like a protector sent to watch over you. And then there's his name, Dogmeat. It sounds grim at first, but maybe that's the whole point. What better way for a god to blend in than by taking on a name that's humble and unassuming? Just another dog, right? Or so we're meant to believe. Now let's not get too carried away. It's possible, just possible, that Dogmeat is a well-trained, incredibly tough canine who's managed to make a name for himself in the post-apocalyptic world. Maybe his survival instincts are just that sharp, and his loyalty, well, that could be chalked up to a strong bond with his human companion. And sure, his reoccurring appearances across the series could just be a nod from the developers, a little Easter egg for the fans.
I'm sorry, Dogmeat, but you ain't him.
But you know what? I'm sticking with my gut on this one. Dogmeat is no ordinary dog. The counter arguments make sense, but there's something about Dogmeat that feels different. He's more than just a furry sidekick. He's a protector, a guide. Like he's been sent to make sure you survive the wasteland. Whether he's a god, a spirit, or some kind of being. I'm convinced Dogmeat is more than meets the eye. There's an otherworldly quality to him that you just can't ignore. So, next time you're wandering the wastes, take a moment to appreciate your faithful friend. After all, you might be just traveling with a god by your side. And hey, at least this god doesn't need sacrifices. Just the occasional belly rub and maybe a bit of Brahmin steak. Alright, Vault Dwellers, grab your pit boys and rat away, because we're about to jump into a theory wilder than a Yagwai on Psycho. What if the Institute, those mysterious eggheads under the Commonwealth, isn't just cranking out synths to do their laundry, but is actually planning to become synths themselves? Yep, we're talking about uploading their brains into android bodies for a one-way ticket to immortality. Let's kick things off with the argument for this theory. When you meet Father, your son, who's now got more gray hairs than you have memories, he starts talking about how the Institute is experimenting with synth emotions. Some fans think this isn't just about making lifelike robots, but it's actually the Institute laying the groundwork to transfer their own minds into these bodies. I mean, who wouldn't want to trade in their meat suit for some shiny new hardware, right? And then there's Nick Valentine and Dima. These two are like the Institute's beta tests. Nick got a human mind in a metal body, and Dima's got more ethical dilemmas than a pre-war politician. Fans believe these guys are just the practice run before the Institute starts uploading their own noggins. After all, why deal with taxes and back pain when you can just reboot yourself every morning? But, hold up. Let's pump the brakes and check out the potholes in this theory. If the Institute really wants to become synths, why do they treat synths like they're more disposable than a Vault Tech salesman's promises?
Okay.
They're more likely to chuck a broken synth in the trash than fix it up for another century. It's like saying you're going to marry your coffee machine, but you still slap it when it doesn't froth your milk right. And what about our very own soul survivor? Some fans think the Institute is testing human emotions in a synthetic body. And hey, if your toaster starts giving you the side eye, don't say I didn't warn you. So, in conclusion, is the Institute secretly planning to become immortal androids? I'm calling it Highly unlikely. More likely, they're just a bunch of mad scientists with too much time and too many synths on their hands. But hey, the Wasteland's full of crazier things, right? What do you think? Is this just another wild conspiracy? Or is there some truth buried under all that Vault Tech propaganda? Let's get something straight. Surviving in the Mojave is no walk in the park. But the Courier, they take survival to a whole new level. Shot in the head, left for dead, and they just shake it off. That's not just luck. That's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if the Courier is playing by a different set of rules. So, the game starts with Benny doing what Benny does best. Double-crossing and putting a bullet in the Courier's brain. Normally, that's where most stories would end. But not for our Courier. They wake up in a stranger's house, get handed a pit boy, and are sent off their way. No big deal. Just another Tuesday in the Wasteland, right? But, let's be real. Getting shot in the head should come with a few more complications. Like, say, not ever waking up ever again? Yet, here's the Courier, not just alive, but ready to take on Deathclaws and super mutants like it's just another day at the office. It makes you wonder, what's really keeping this person going? Is it sheer luck? Some kind of advanced healing factor? Or is there something even crazier going on? Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's where things get interesting. Some fans think the Courier isn't just tough. They're actually immortal. Now, before you roll your eyes, consider this. The Fallout universe is full of weird experiments, shady pre-war tech, and, let's be honest, some downright bizarre plot twists. So, is it really that crazy to think that maybe, just maybe, our Courier has stumbled upon some kind of immortality? Maybe they were a part of a Vault Tech experiment that went right, or horribly wrong, depending on how you want to look at it. Or maybe they've got some hidden tech inside them that keeps them coming back for more, no matter how many times they get knocked down. Honestly, it wouldn't be the strangest thing to happen in Fallout, that's for sure. But let's not get too carried away. It's just as likely that the Courier is simply just really lucky. Like, find a stim pack in every frickin' mailbox lucky, after all. I mean, Fallout is a game, and part of the fun is that you, the player, are supposed to survive the impossible. Plot armor, game mechanics, call it what you want. But sometimes, a bullet to the brain is just a dramatic way to kick off the story. Then, there's Doc Mitchell, the guy who patches you up. He says it's a miracle you survived. And maybe he's right. Maybe the Courier's survival is just one of those unexplainable things, like how rad roaches seem to survive everything but a good stomp. So, is the Courier immortal? Maybe. Maybe not. Fallout leaves a lot to the imagination, and that's part of what makes it so compelling. Whether it's some hidden technology, a quirk of fate, or just the fact it's a game and you're the protagonist. One thing's for sure. The Courier isn't going down easy. And thank goodness for that, because the Wasteland would be a lot less interesting without them. Alright, imagine this. You're wandering the irradiated wastelands of Fallout, dodging Deathclaws, and contemplating whether Nuka-Cola would actually taste good. Now, fast forward to exploring the mythical lands of the Elder Scrolls, where dragons casually ruin your afternoon plans, and then, just when you thought things couldn't get weirder, you're flying through space in Starfield, wondering if your character packed enough snacks for the interstellar travel. What if I told you that all these worlds, the Wasteland, the fantasy realms, and the vastness of space, are all connected? That's right. I'm talking about a multiverse theory so wild, even Todd Howard would raise an eyebrow. Bethesda says their games aren't connected, but I'm here to show you why that might be a bunch of Brahmin dung. First off, let's talk about some of the weird stuff that keeps popping up across Bethesda's games. In the Elder Scrolls, we've got these Daedric princes, powerful, reality-bending entities that just love to mess with us mortals. Fallout might not have Daedric princes, but it's got its own share of supernatural weirdness. Remember the Dunwich building? Yeah, that place is like a haunted house on fucking steroids. Coincidence? I think not. And then, there's this whole tech versus magic thing. And Starfield, Unity might just be the sci-fi equivalent of Elder Scrolls' magic. Think about it. Whether you're using Ethereum to mess with time, or Unity to hop dimensions, it's all about bending reality to your will. So, is it really that crazy to think these worlds could be different chapters in the same twisted story? Let's not forget Bethesda's love for Easter eggs. You know, those little nuggets they sprinkle into their games just to mess with our heads. For example, in Fallout 4, the collectible bobbleheads are treated as powerful mystical items that grant special abilities. Sound familiar? That's because they're reminiscent of the Daedric artifacts in the Elder Scrolls. Rare, powerful, and steeped in lore. And then, we've got the Black Books in the Elder Scrolls DLC The Dragonborn. These bad boys literally transport you to another fucking dimension. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's pretty much what the Unity does in Starfield. It's like Bethesda has been poking at us and teasing us with this multiverse idea for years, and now they're finally letting us in on the secret. The next part of this theory revolves around time travel, because who doesn't love a good mind-bending paradox? Fallout has dabbled in time loops and simulations, like in Tranquility Lane or in Dead Money. These little reality-bending moments could be the Fallout universe's way of flirting with the multiverse. And don't even get me started on the Dwemer from Elder Scrolls, a whole civilization that just poof out of existence. Maybe they didn't disappear, maybe they just relocated, to like another dimension through Unity, because why the fuck not? Now, let's get to the juicy part. Unity. In Starfield, Unity isn't just some random sci-fi mumbo-jumbo. It's a narrative bridge that could connect all of Bethesda's universes. Think of it as the ultimate fast travel system, but instead of hopping between towns, you're jumping between entire realities. Unity could be the key that ties Fallout's post-apocalyptic nightmares, the Elder Scrolls dragon-filled fantasies, and Starfield's space adventures all together. It's like Bethesda's way of saying, hey, you thought these were all separate games? Think again. And that's where the real magic, or should I say, science happens. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Bethesda said their games aren't connected. Sure, they did. But let's be real. Game development is like a buffet. You pile your plate with ideas, and sometimes you end up mixing foods that shouldn't go together. Bethesda might officially keep their universes separate, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun connecting the dots. Maybe they're just waiting for us to figure it out, or maybe they're enjoying watching us lose sleep over these theories. Either way, the connections are there if you're willing to look. So, whether or not Bethesda intended for all their games to be connected, and even though they have said they're not, I'm calling it. There's more going on here than meets the eye. Fallout, The Elder Scrolls and Starfield might be different worlds on the surface, but underneath, they're all a part of the same crazy multiverse. Next time you're dodging a Deathclaw, slaying a dragon, or cruising through the stars, remember, you might just be exploring different corners of the same universe, tied together by the mysterious force we call unity. And who knows, maybe one day, Bethesda will come clean and admit that we were right all along. So, there you have it. 5 of the wildest Fallout theories out there. We started with the idea that the entire Fallout universe could be a simulation, messing around with our perception of reality. Then we took a stroll with our favorite Wasteland companion, Dogmeat, and considered if he might just be a god in disguise. After that, we dove into the Institute's true purpose, questioning what they're really up to beneath the Commonwealth. We explored the idea of the Courier's immortality and how their survival through seemingly impossible odds might not just be luck. And finally, we connected the dots across all of Bethesda's titles through Starfield's Unity, suggesting that these worlds might be more intertwined than we thought. If you enjoyed this dive into Fallout's wildest fan theories, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and if this video gets enough likes and comments, I'll definitely consider doing a part 2 with 5 entirely different theories. There's still so much to explore out there. Also, I'm on the goal to reach 500 subscribers right now, guys. I'm sitting at 250, and all you guys that are already subscribed, I really appreciate every single one of you and all the support you've been giving me. And if you're new here or haven't subscribed yet, I'd love your support in hitting that milestone as well. Every subscription really helps, and if you feel like I've deserved it from this video or from other videos, or you feel like I'm gonna get, it's just only, well, I know it's only get better, guys, we know that, I know me. I only like to go up, but anyway, every subscription though, it really keeps this community growing strong. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a quote that's always resonated with me, and I think it speaks volume about life and Fallout, even though it's not from a very, very prominent Fallout character. As John Henry Eden, the Enclave president, once said in his radio broadcast, "The American dream does not come to those who fall asleep." It's a powerful reminder that we have to keep pushing forward, staying awake, and taking control of our destiny, no matter how tough the wasteland or life gets. Thanks for sticking around until the end, guys. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, stay safe out there in the wasteland. Corn out.